everything's on hold, okay? Everything, the whole market's on hold waiting for the NVIDIA report. You know, the issue will become, what will NVIDIA do? I believe that there's a way to play NVIDIA if y'all are interested. You want me to teach you how to play it and keep the risk limited? Might be something that we could go over. Okay, so NVIDIA currently is 137. Let's assume we buy it at 137, buy the stock at 137. Another way of doing that is you could buy two 50 delta options, but you risk more if you do that, okay? I say buy the stock at 137, okay? Then you buy a put, a 135 put, and sell a 130 put with the intention that you're going to buy another 100 shares if they put it to you at 130, okay? So NVIDIA has a habit, if it is down, being down and then coming back up. So we're going to play that with this strategy. So let's talk about risk, okay? So if NVIDIA goes up to 153, which is my target, 153, then let's do the math. You got 100 shares, 137 to 153 is 16 points, right? Times 100 bucks, be 1,600 bucks. You're going to lose roughly $200 of that for your protection. So you're still going to make 1,400 best of all worlds, okay? Then if it gets to 153, you can go sell the 160 call for this Friday's expiration and get at least $2 for it if it makes it that high, okay? So you get your $200 back. So that way, if it goes well, you end up making maybe somewhere between 1,500 and 1,600 per 100 shares, okay? Now let's say it goes bad, okay? The stock or your put that you pay $1.80 for is going to put $300 of the pain off that and really put you at 134. And then if you take the attitude that you're going to let them put the stock to you at 130, give you 200 shares of NVIDIA, then you can turn around and sell a 145 call, two of them, and get your money back there. So this is a strategy. It does have its risk, but I'm doing it. Everybody understand what I'm doing? You want to map it out, Jonathan, on a whiteboard, how to do this?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. And let me just bring up the slide presentation real quick. And we'll just pop open a new slide.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you're buying 100 shares of NVIDIA.
137 current market.
All right, your target is
153
stock. All right.
Mm-hmm.
For protection,
I'm buying the 135 put.
expiring this Friday.
Right.
Let's see, remind myself what date that was. May 30th, right?
Mm-hmm.
135 put. All right.
And I'm going to sell the 130 put because I'm willing to buy NVIDIA again at 130. If I end up taking the 100 shares, I will sell calls and use covered call. Now, the alternative is without buying the stock, you can't have these kind of profits. And by the way, Bruce, you only have to put up to buy the 100 shares that you're buying about 6,000. Okay, to do that. Now, if you just want to buy the 135 call, was a 135 call and a 137 call. Look at that. Let's look at it a different way.
For this Friday?
Yeah, this Friday. You either made or lose.
Yeah, 135, 137 call spread is about $1.05 or 100.
What's a 137 call?
The 137 call alone is $4.65.
What's a 138 call?
It's $4.15.
What's the difference?
Between what?
If you bought the 37 and sold the 38.
That's a debit of 50 cents.
Yeah, so you could do that trade. You lose 50 cents if it doesn't go up, but you make 100% on what you put up because if it goes up above 138, that call will be worth $1. Everybody see the math on that one? That's another alternative, Bruce.
I want to get back to this strategy here at the time that I have highlighted, the stock strategy.
Yeah.
This protective put, it's really not a protection against your shares. It's just a way to profit in the instance that the stock goes down on earnings. Would you say that's correct?
Yes.
Because if the stock goes down, you're keeping your 100 shares.
Right.
Potentially buy another 100 shares. So if the stock goes down, you take your profit on the put and you keep your 100 shares you already had, and then see if you get put another 100 shares at 130. And if you do, you'd have a cost basis not at 137, but at 130, what is that, 3.5? And you'd start selling the 145 calls against it, you said?
Yep. And I'd keep it because I think NVIDIA is going to go higher, as we get further into the year. So I'm just basically saying this is a good way to use today's information. Okay. Now, let's say NVIDIA, before the earnings announced, gets to 145, then I just take profit on the call at or on the long shares, take the money, bank it, and and then get out of the put spread.
Yeah, I got you. So yeah, if the stock goes up, then you're treating these two down here, you're treating that as just a normal debit put spread. In that case, you get out of that, and then you decide to book your profit on the shares, or you could, I guess, sell that covered call at 160 you were thinking up to. Either one of those would be fine.
I know, I hardly ever do these type strategies anymore, but after watching the market all day, I really believe that money is flowing into the market. And this has been a profit-taking session, meaning that we didn't go down. All we did is spit, okay? Swap spit all day and chop people up. That's the only reason I'm doing this, basically reading the tapes and I'm going to do it. So that's what I'm doing. My trade's on. I got it, the put protection on. I got the stock. And Bruce, I like the other strategy I gave you with the option. I might do that one too. In fact, I will. Everybody understands that's a good strategy too. Yeah, he's done both. He did both of them. Okay. One is buying the stock. The second one is just buy a put spread, 37, 38, long at 37, out at 38, fires Friday. If you hit, you made 100% on your money. Because I think the stock's going to go to 153. Is that pretty cool or what? Some risk involved though, like in every trade. Jonathan, which one of the two strategies appeals to you? I'm just curious.
Many years ago, I probably would have done the stock strategy. Nowadays, I'd probably do the option strategy, frankly.
Yeah.
But I like them both. I like both strategy. You know, there's something nice
I
about,
understand. I am willing to take the stock.
yeah, you got to be willing to take the stock.
Now, why not think I'm willing to take stock? Go put a compass chart up there and showing what NVIDIA looks like, say on a daily.
Strong.
It's not a credit spread. It's you're buying the call and doing the, yeah. All right, let's go through the numbers. The monthly opens 113. The weekly opens 134. The yearly opens 136. So we're above all the key numbers, okay? Which tells me I think NVIDIA is going to go higher. Especially since after July, I think everything's going up. So I'm willing to acquire NVIDIA here, play the covered call game. Jonathan, did we invite everybody in here? I see, I would think that,
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, we did. Um, yep.
yeah, Astro, it does. It does.
I do like how you mapped out a strategy for both sides of the count, trade accordingly. What you're comfortable with. Tom gave an option alternative, which was the 37-38, excuse me, the 137-138 call spread,
Mhm.
expiring Friday, which is about 50 cents or less. So if we're right on NVIDIA going up, turn your 50 cents into $1. You 100% return potentially there.
Wrong, you lose 50 cents.
Yep.
No recovery time with the 2-day option.
Well, kind of like a binary result. You're either right or you're wrong.
Right. Now, let me tell you, I'm having can I get my invite in my email, Gmail, and get in via text?
Phil, shoot us an email, support@dtitrader.com with exactly what you're looking for. It's a possibility maybe your email's opted out or something like that, but we need your email, and easiest way is just to email us, so we have your email right there. Support@dtitrader.com.
All right, and everybody knows I'll be having a special session at 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock today after those NVIDIA earnings. Everybody knows that, correct? I mean, I think everybody is going to be watching those, and that's why I will trade futures after the announcement because they're going to move. So if you're my futures first, in fact, John, do we have something against anybody who wants to be a futures first player? Got some slides to go through. Sure, David. Everybody can come to the one after 5. Because I'll also be doing another special futures thing in the Telegram channel after 9 tonight. Futures is going to be quite active after the NVIDIA news.
Hey, Tom, I'm just going to leave this room open. We'll shut the YouTube off for an hour and fire it back up after that. But the Zoom room will stay open. Excuse me. The Zoom room will stay open.
Okay, so we'll just keep this room open and go with it.
Yeah, and I'll put up when we're done with this session, I'll put up a timer for an hour or whatever, however much time there is.
Sure.
Back.
I think the strategy is a little aggressive, and I'm doing it. I just thought I'd share it with people. I'm not putting in any programs or anything. I'm just doing the strategy myself. Thought I'd share it with people. Yeah, Will, you want to do the 135, 130 put expires Friday.
And, be willing to buy another 100 shares at 130.
Right, because I'm planning on building. I think NVIDIA is going a lot higher, and I was trying to think of a way to acquire the stock, and I decided to do it this way today. I've been thinking about it. I thought it was getting close to the July period, and I thought might as well do it today.
Tom, why don't we cover this? Because, I know you're willing to buy another 100 shares at 130, and hopefully everybody that's, buying 100 shares with this strategy is also willing to buy another 100 shares at 130. But if you weren't willing to buy another 100 shares, you're not getting much protection from buying a 5-wide debit put spread. Would you just buy the outright put 135 and call that good? Or
no, I wouldn't do that, because here's what I'm going to do. I believe even if it goes down, I'll keep the 130 put that's short. So I'm willing to take the stock. I'll take the 135 put, use my market timing ability to get out of it at a nice profit and take even more money off the trade. Say if it went to 120, I'd make $15 there, right? And then have the 130, then I might, it gives me a lot more flexibility doing it this way. Why not sell a 130 put? The reason I don't want to sell a 130 put, I want to own the stock. My motivation is owning the stock. That's why I gave you the option alternative if you don't want to own the stock. Does that make sense? I'm willing to own the stock. I gave everybody a couple ideas around NVIDIA earnings, and you can use it or not. It's not going to be any program. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. The money I'm going to make, that I'm hoping to make anyway, will be after 5 o'clock in my futures account. Okay. And we'll keep this room open. If I see anything before then, I'll type it in here or say what I'm doing. All right, John, if you want to go through the slides, see if anybody might want to join my Futures First. It's going to be very active. Good time to join.
Yeah, you got some education up front as well.
Is everybody, do I have any, let me ask before I do this, do I have anybody here that would like that's not part of my Futures First education. All right, well, let me go through this because I think this would be helpful with those that might want to join. Okay. Go to dtitrader.com/, is this the first slide or last slide, Jonathan?
Well, you acted like you want to go right to the very end, so let me scroll back up. Now, did you want to
Thank you,
cover?
Stacy.
Did you want to cover the educational portion?
Yeah, let me cover the whole thing where everybody can see it. This is good. This is good. I want to go through this. This is pretty good and get some feedback as I do it. Where do we start at?
You can start it, in my opinion.
In my opinion, the market is going to move after this announcement. If it doesn't move after this announcement, it's going to move tomorrow morning because tomorrow morning is what is going to be reported at 8:30 tomorrow morning. Does everybody know? GDP. And then it's going to move Friday. What's reported on Friday? PCE. You've got a market that's about to move quite a bit. Okay. Whether it's higher or lower, we're going to trade what we see. But the bottom line is that it's going to be kicked off. It's like a big football game, right? Okay. All right. And because of that, there's going to be a lot of real important news that happens. Okay. And I'm planning on taking advantage of it. All right. I tell people all the time, I've been telling people for the greater part of 30 years, the most important question that you have to answer is whether to be long, short, or out. My pivot number today was 59.15. What a pivot number. I think the low of the day is 59.13, isn't it, Jonathan? Something like that. How low do we go today?
We dipped down slightly below your pivot, 59.04.
59.03?
59.04.
Okay. And, right now, I can't make a decision. I've been trading for 40 years, whether to be long, short, or out. I can't make that decision in 2 minutes or less. Can anybody here make a decision on the market's action today, what you're looking at right now, to make a decision to be long, short, or out? You can't, can you? I can't do it. I've been trading for 40 years. Okay. Here's the 24-hour clock, and this is what will kick off tonight at 6. And then you got Europe, then you got the US tomorrow and the US tomorrow afternoon. Okay. The pivot number I gave people. Does everybody here know how to get my pivot number every day for free? I give it away. Maybe I ought to start charging for it. It's so good. You got to join dtitrader.com/tbuzztv. But it tells you whether to be long or short for the following day. And this morning, my number was 59.15. And that's in the Telegram channel with T-Buzz TV. There it is, 59.15. I also gave people earlier this morning 59.45 as a breakout number to the upside. And I haven't seen that all day. We tried to go higher, but we couldn't make it. 59.45. Now, I get my pivots from a lot of different places, but time-based, meaning based on time of day, time of week, or time of month, are most important. Like right now, the pivot number for the month has kept us long. We're up 5%. I'd say that's an important number. There it is, that monthly open. And then the weekly open, I gave it to you, and we're up big for the week. So far, you got the monthly open and the weekly open big for the week. The reference bars is how I divide the 24-hour market. It's pretty simple. The first 30 minutes of every major time zone, Asia, Europe, US opening, California, second half of the day. That helps me with my market timing. It will help you if you learn our reference bar approach. They provide clarity to our intraday market analysis. And there it is. And I've got XYZ bars. One is for pre-market trading. I use it for pre-market trading. Also, that's where the sunrise signal comes from. It's pretty popular to everybody. Then I've got the Genesis bar that happens 11:30 to 12. If you go look at Genesis today, we went down, made a low during Genesis, then we rallied, and now we're back down, waiting for this NVIDIA news. And then Z is the closing bell, which is very important this afternoon because it's right prior to the NVIDIA news. All these numbers are timely to help you analyze and have clarity on what you do. Buy and sell patterns, how to keep it simple. This is the most simplest way I can teach people how to read charts. Look for a higher high and a higher low. That's a buy signal. Look for a lower low and a lower high for a sell signal. When it's in between, it's stay inside. If you look at the daily chart today, and we'll go look at that when I finish, we're inside yesterday's range. You go from daily. That's the reference bars, which have preference over that right now. The guiding reference bar is our RB4 reference bar. And now we just started the 330 closing bell, which will be the guiding reference bar. Any questions about what I just covered? Anybody got any questions about how I frame basically the world? Okay. Here's futures first. Now, people know I love futures. Been trading it for the greater part of 40 years. I used to have a brokerage firm on the futures side, and I really found at DTI to teach other traders how to trade futures. We had a lot of classes over the years, and a lot of people out there learned futures from me and my team at DTI. Eventually, I got rid of my brokerage firm, stepped away from futures, and I really consider myself retired for a greater part, about 4 or 5 years. Still trading futures, I just didn't teach it anymore. There was a doctor that came to one of my classes at Sawgrass and wanted me to teach him futures. I said, if you get 10 people, he did. At that class, I started teaching again. And I enjoyed it. The first class we had was a really neat class that we did, in person. Didn't have any of the online stuff, didn't have anything like that at the time. All the material was old and dated. We didn't have micros back then. We just had basic E-minis. And I go back to the S&P days when we didn't have E-minis. But I could teach them about futures, and that's what I pursued. So I knew it was a lot of work. I charged, I think, $1,000. I think it was a month for that initial training, because there was a lot of stuff I had to put together to do it. It took a lot of time, but eventually over time, I started having fun. People found out about it. They started coming to Ponte Vedra to sit with me. They still do that. Classes are usually sold out. Small classes I have with people on futures. This is what I specialized in all these years, teaching people what I know about futures, how to avoid the mistakes of futures, why I think futures is one of the most important things any trader can learn. So we opened up the futures class. We had such demand, I decided to do it online. I created an online class that now you can join. No hassle on your part to join. That's the beautiful thing about it. I got it organized where on Monday nights we get together and I train. And then special events where we're doing today, like in the Zoom room, okay? We're doing that. I'm telling people tonight's an important night after this NVIDIA, so I'm gonna pop in there and analyze, interpret, tell them what I'm doing. We built quite a curriculum teaching futures and future options. We didn't have futures options back in the day. I just transferred the knowledge from options over to futures, and it works like a charm. People love it. That way you can take your knowledge over in securities and real quick adapt to how to trade futures with defined risk. Now the next couple slides shows you the work we've done. We've edited it. They're great classes, but they cover all the basic, what I call the 7 sisters, plus other things like how to trade the first cash, the first hour in the market using futures. I guess I ought to have one how to trade earnings using futures. That'll be a good class. I got to do a hedge, Jonathan, next, and how to hedge a portfolio, and then how to trade earnings using futures. One of the beautiful thing about it, I've had some pretty good success telling people about crude oil falling, how to play it. Gold was another big success. Gold hitting the 3,500. Oh, we had a lot of fun there. And then, of course, the Tasty Trade bracket order, which is for new people, a great way to learn futures. Probably the simplest way I know to place orders. Have a great core curriculum for trading it. It's all recorded, so you go at your own schedule, on demand, makes it nice. But I'm just getting started. There's so much more to teach. Euro currency became important, and I started teaching Euro currency. Futures first, in my opinion, is a good way for me to spread the knowledge I have in futures to you. Hey, Fred, this is your stock today, NVIDIA. I continually do this every week, Monday at 7, and we go into our week ahead of everybody else doing that. There's the training Monday night. We post insights throughout the week in our Futures First Telegram channel. And I'll be posting insights tonight. Now, if you want to join, we got 3 levels of membership. You go to dtitrader.com/futures or just call 904-706-3532. The 3 levels of membership will get you into the Futures First Telegram channel, and you'll be able to participate throughout each and every week when I see things that I think are futures related, changing the general market. Any questions about what I just covered? So 3 parts futures. Today, we talked about futures prior to earnings. Okay. We talked about after NVIDIA. We talked about tonight at 9, taking what NVIDIA does and showing people how to get ahead of the crowd for tomorrow using exactly what happens. So we got a whole good plan today, and it's focused on that. So I hope you participate and be part of our Futures First training. Once you trade futures, it's not, if you keep it simple, it's not a hard concept. How do you take advantage of these movements? And how to use the pivot number and how to know when to enter and when not to enter. And then when you get a trend, like on a Monday night, you got a real good trade in one of the 7 sisters, which is E-mini, NASDAQ, Dow, crude, gold, silver, and bonds. So let's take about a 10-minute break, Jonathan. I wanted to come back and show them something, okay? David is more of an education teaching you how to fish. That's what the education is, not an alert system. Heck, I get good ideas for my students. Hey, Tom, look at this. And I'll look at it based on what I taught him. Let's get started in about 10 minutes, go to a live market and look at where we're ending up, look at this last close of the day, and we'll see where we're headed. Remember, we'll be in this room until after NVIDIA earnings. By the way, we put out our weekly newsletter last night, and it's posted into the dtitrader.com/weekly room. I'll be back in 9 minutes. All right, Jonathan, let's go to a live market if we can.
Yep. Bring up the roadmap and I'll just blow up the chart of the S&P futures.
Yeah, if you look at the futures right here, does everybody see that closing bar right there? That closing bar, how it's down here at the lower end? Yeah. So we're really at the, I guess, sort of the lows of the day, aren't
We are.
we? Okay. Anybody got any insight of why we got a sell off from up there where we were neutral? Because NVIDIA comes out what, Jonathan, in probably less than 30 minutes?
Yeah, I would say usually around, I don't know the exact time, but 15 to 20 minutes after the half an hour after the cash close.
Mm-hmm. Dave says because Trump has banned the chip sales to China. Hmm. Has anybody ever heard me talk about earnings? How that first hour after the earnings report, you really get a trend for a stock? There's no exception even when it comes to NVIDIA, okay? And because of that, we got news that's going to change. I would call the NVIDIA earnings a trend changing news, depending on what's reported. I don't know what they're going to report, but do a daily chart on NVIDIA. Let's just look at it.
Okay. There it is.
Does that chart look bearish to you?
Not to me.
Hold on, let me do something here. I got it going on. Right, is the earnings class, and see the first hour after earnings, we're going to know. My target is still 153 on NVIDIA. Jonathan, when do they report? About 15 minutes after 4?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, don't quote me on the exact time, but I think usually within a half hour after the cash flows, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. By the way, Dave, GEV looks good to me. GEV. Never traded it before. I just put it in MTI. Look good. Well, when it's high is about 130. Let me give you the range at the close. This is for NVIDIA for the day. So far, it's been up to 137.25 and as low as 134.70. Y'all want to learn something? Y'all want to learn something about news? What do you think if people read the following, that Trump banned chip sales to China, what would be the general reaction to that? Just general, that sell things, right? What if you look further, okay? What if you look further than that and said, wait a second, let me investigate this. What do you think the eventual outcome will be? I think the price will go up. If NVIDIA does their job on their earnings and on their report and all that, then within 3 days, you'll see that stock go up. Now, if they don't do their job, then it goes down. And that's the risk you take, you know. But I'm going to be pretty aggressive after the report comes out. I got the futures market that I can use, and I've got the stock market that I can use. So I'm really not concerned about what to do in case I'm wrong about it going higher, because there's other things you can do. And Ralph says he's got MTI by DTI. He can use that. Absolutely. Right, Robin. And I think what you're going to hear about their Blackwell chip, they're at full bore for next quarter. And that's what the market's going to focus on, I think. All right, Jonathan, you just want to, while we sit here, put the NASDAQ futures up where we can watch the NASDAQ futures going into this announcement. Max, I think if it's really good, it'd go to 153. All right, I'll be back when we hear the earnings. Tesla just hit 361.50. Keep your eye on it till we get NVIDIA earnings. S&P is about 59.05. We're at 135.35. Everybody see Tesla?
Order bell.
$363.22. Write that number down. Let's put NVIDIA in there, Jonathan, where we can watch it. About 137.
Specific confirmation or a denial of this story here, but clearly there is some action going on. And we have seen so far in the last 30 minutes or so the impact on the stocks. Morning.
All right, I'll take it. And of course, there is a trade negotiation.
Keep your eye on the NASDAQ and NVIDIA. What's the NASDAQ? Hank, I'm talking about NASDAQ futures.
This is basically the peak you want to look at right there. That's after ChatGPT. But this to me is the market kind of front running the fundamentals and knowing that there was going to be this bonanza of massive earnings growth. And so it's a question of how much you pay on a forward going basis. We are still up near 30 times earnings. We were talking about this before. To compare this to Apple back when it entered its hyper growth profit phase after the first generation of iPhone became ubiquitous. This is back here in the early 2010s. Look at how low the PE got below 15. It was a super cheap stock forever, even though earnings went up by 7x between 2009 and 2012 or so. So it shows you not that this is going to happen to NVIDIA, but sometimes the market kind of gets ahead of it and it needs a show me situation to say, okay, maybe this is a viable ecosystem for services and everything else that we can expand the multiple layer. That's what happened with Apple. Interesting. Well, we are looking for it. Like in the meantime, on the AI trade, C3 AI earnings are at that stop. 15% plus here. That's another state.
John, so it was a beat on the top and bottom line for C3 AI. You can see that reflected in shares here after hours. We'll start with that EPS number. It was a loss, it was smaller than expected. 16 cents versus 20 cents. Trade was looking for. That was on revenue of $109 million. Better than expected subscription revenue. Also looking stronger than expected here. That came in at actually slightly less, 87 million versus 96 million, which is what the street was looking for. And it was up about 9%. Also some news after I was at C3 AI and Baker Hughes. They're renewing their joint venture that's going to extend through 2028. Stock is down more than 30% this year. The venture is up here, up more than 72%. I would note this is a highly shorted name. The short interest is about 19% of the flow. That's about 4 times the average. They tend to see these outsized moves, but it was a beat in the quarter.
Yeah, so we're around a lot. Kate, thanks. We'll keep watching it. So lots of earnings, including C3 already out, but several more still to come. When we come back, we're going to get results from HP.
And at 420, the big report everyone is waiting for. We'll get numbers from NVIDIA and instant reaction to those results. Over time, this package is
It's a good retirement strategy. You've worked for a comfortable retirement for years. Now you need to plan for retirement income. Learn ways to avoid common mistakes, like being too conservative or not setting retirement limits. Have someone on your
Hey, what's the symbol for that C3 AI? C3 AI? Jonathan, you know? I never traded it before.
I think it was just AI, but
Just AI?
I'll find out for sure. Yeah, AI.
Yeah, that stock's up quite a bit. Goodness gracious. Is that Sam Altman's company? Company? Sam Altman? Yeah, I thought that was interesting how that's sort of soaring there. All right, NVIDIA is 135.94. The NASDAQ futures have moved up 40 points. Josh, they said at 4:20 they'll announce the earnings. 4:20.
Okay, great.
Let's see if that's true.
Yeah, by the way, Sam Altman, not the CEO of.
No, that's
AI.
Tom Seibel.
You're right. You got it.
Got a lot of new guys on the scene now, don't we? Ralph said that CRM raised their annual revenue forecast. They must be listening to Kevin Hassett. It's sort of fun. Are y'all having fun looking at all this stuff? Man, my juices are going. I got two hands, one on an account over here, one on an account there. My eyes are looking. This is like old times. Up 60 points on the NASDAQ futures. It's fun to do, John. I'm glad we're doing this. HP's down, according to Barry. I got NVIDIA at 136. Well, 136, went to 136.09 for a second.
Order L.
36.63. They're getting ready to announce the earnings. Spread's going wide on the stock. $36, $37, that's the highest print I've seen, 37. Back to 34. Ooh, that stock's moving. The results are out. I got 36.95 on NVIDIA. I got the NASDAQ making highs. Just got filled on my contract. Took some off the table. I'm at 37 on NVIDIA, 37.61 NVIDIA, 37.90 NVIDIA, 38 NVIDIA, 38.22 NVIDIA, 38.24 NVIDIA, $38.65, 38.89 is the high, 139 NVIDIA, S&P's at 59.15, today's pivot number. $139.75 NVIDIA. Taking some off. Oh, I bought more. I forgot to say that. I did buy some more. I'm down to my original 100 shares. I'm up about 270 on that one. All right, let's talk train the educate. Does everybody see the 30, Jonathan, highlight the NVIDIA 3686 breakout number on the frame, RB frame. Highlight that. Right around 137 is right where I started buying more shares. It's breaking out. It's 139.98. Remember my target, I said if it got to 145, I'd go flat on the stock and wait to reposition tomorrow at 145. My ultimate target's 153. And just keep in mind, I traded futures because the futures gave me a buy signal, and the futures, running a little resistance here, I took my profit. But now we got to see if it holds these numbers. What you do is look for about the first hour after the report, and they'll be talking about 5. But what you should have learned from this, and this is what you should have learned. That news that hit the markets about Trump stopping chip sales to China, what did that do for the big players? Think about it. Think if you were a big player and thought NVIDIA was going to do well. You wanted to buy it cheaper, right? So the stock went down to 135. They started buying it. The news comes out, it pops up to 139. So I was skeptical when somebody typed in there about the news. I've seen that so many times. Then later on, they gave details. And they're reviewing. That's all they're doing, reviewing. The Commerce Department's reviewing, which means, what does that mean? Nothing. They're always reviewing. Anyway, I hope y'all learned something out of that, because that is something that you'll see a lot of times on stocks that are reporting. That's why I normally wait after they report to do something. But you see that a lot on reports where they'll hit the screen and the stock will have a nosedive, and then all of a sudden, right about the time that they get the stock accumulated, you'll see them clarify the remarks. Anyway, just thought I'd share that with you. Learn from it. You gotta learn. Seen it many times. All right, I got NVIDIA at 38.88. I've got Tesla at 360.88. I'm at my pivot number on the S&P. So I think I'm going to take a break. Jonathan, why don't you set an alert, and let's come back right at 5 and take a snapshot look. The real trade happens after 9 tonight in futures. After 8 in futures, 8 to 9 in the Telegram channel. You might put the link up in case somebody decides they want to be part of it. We're at 39. If it goes to 145, I'll sell my stock. Everybody understand that, right? Remember, I didn't put this in any programs. I just told you, shared what I was doing. Any questions before we take a little break and Jonathan puts the timer up? If NVIDIA hits 145, I'll get out of what I own. It's got to take out 140, that's the high. Yeah, Wednesday on the web at 8, but right now I really want to focus on coming back at when that clock winds down. I enjoyed being with everybody, and it's time to get serious and take advantage of this later on. Pete, did you put the spread on today? If you put the spread on today, you got to get out tomorrow to avoid a day trade. Futures trade to 5 o'clock, and then they open back up at 6. I think I'm pretty pleased with that show. Thank you very much. See everybody at what, 32 minutes? Testing 1, 2, 3. Now the futures market closes at 5, but I want to point out the futures market's at 59.22, which above my pivot number of 59.15 is bullish. Okay. Also point out that NVIDIA's at 141.69. Remember I said if it hits 145 tonight, I'll step aside and reevaluate tomorrow. Now I'll have to consider my protection I bought is worthless, okay? Or if there's any left in the 130 put that I'm short, I'll just get out of the long put and let it expire. But anyway, this is how you can take advantage of big news, but it's just getting started. The real move will probably happen tomorrow. And that's one reason I'm doing the special function with futures later on tonight. But does everybody see how every hour, every day is not a trading time, right? You got to wait until you get the opportunities. You could have, if you would have anticipated or looked at this, you could have got chopped up today with the market, and it never got above the 59.45, which was the breakout number. Now that number changes after we get into the night market, which starts at 6. But NVIDIA's, trucking along 141.72. Tesla now is 362. The market is, I'm just looking at MU is moving. I just saw that MU's moving. That's good. MU. My NASDAQ futures, I got back in it, it's doing good. Everything's sort of happening pretty good here. MU is actually looking pretty good. MU, the stock MU. I hadn't checked Palantir. Let me check Palantir. Yeah, Palantir. Hey, Palantir just got above its 125, so that's bullish. And patience does pay, doesn't it? Microsoft, we got a trade there that's looking good. I think everything we got on the books looks good personally. We're long the SPY, we're long the QQQ, we're long that sunrise signal is really, it's got, I think, 4 trades on right now. Oklo's up 24%. OKLO, that's a good one. Is Buck here? Is Buck here? Buck, are you here? Wish Buck was here. He had reviewed all the trades I'd done during the month of May, and about 94% accurate. But what I liked about it, he went into some detail about it. It was pretty good stuff. NVIDIA's 142. Hey, TSM's breaking out. TSM. All right, if you're with me today, give me some feedback. Did you like what I did and showed you? I mean, does this help you understand the power of the DTI approach? In order to make you really want to learn everything you possibly can from what we do. Thanks, All Points. That's awful nice. Rob, thank you. SP, thank you. Way to go, Jeremy. You're gonna love it. John, this is your first time here. You're at the right spot. Isn't John at the right spot, folks? Ralph says I'm like Mickey Mouse. Well, you know, I get a real kick out of it, okay? And Willis just said he likes the way I teach futures. And I appreciate all that because I do, you know, there'll be times, I got to tell you, there's times I won't be doing any trading. I'll say, patience will pay. That's to tell you, I'm really evaluating the market. The risk is too great, okay? Polly loves my weekly letters. Everybody here have the weekly letter. We ought to post that, Jonathan, if you're here, how they can sign up. If they don't have that, it's just fresh off the press. David, I'll be doing a June contract. A June contract. Of course, I bought the TQQ. Market's going higher. Now we got one roadblock to keep this thing from blasting, taking out highs, making another big day tomorrow. You know what that is? GDP in the morning. Once you get past that, it should be all clear. But there should be a good trade between tonight and tomorrow. All right, Polly, be careful. See you tonight at 8. Okay. Jonathan, are you here?
I am, Tom.
All right, I want to review some of the key points that I made. And we might want to put it on a white slide that be given to you. You had that slide that we were talking about getting along in video. Maybe page 2, a summary. I can give you some summary thoughts and wrap this thing up. Okay. Folks, anytime you take risk in a trade, you want to have a back door. My back door was using a put to protect my long holding. I had a plan if the stock did not go up. I had a plan if it did go up. My eventual target is 153. My short-term target is 145 on NVIDIA. I plan to use the futures market to pick up additional money, if possible, after 9 tonight. And I'll probably focus either on the NASDAQ or the micro E-mini, one of those two, after 8 to 9 tonight. Well, it won't be 8, it'll be after 9, okay? You learn news that you see prior to a major announcement you ought to be skeptical. Everybody got that? Be skeptical of news prior to a big announcement. You look at your news platform and it tells you next big news is 8:30 tomorrow morning. 8:30 tomorrow morning. So the market, know the pivot number I give each day. It is a great number to determine long, short, or out. I give it to everybody. It comes out about 5 in the morning in my TNT room. It's a 24-hour market. Fred, you've been long NVIDIA. You took it down, took it up, but the bottom line is you're doing well. You're going to do a lot better from here. Now the real money to be made with NVIDIA, I think, going forward this year. Okay? Keep that in mind. John, anything we ought to add to this before we wrap this up? Come back at 8 tonight?
I think this has been a great session, Tom. Thanks for your time and enjoyed it.
Yeah, the NVIDIA call spreads be worth 100% on our money. You see, Jeremy, we'll get 100% on that money. A 37.38 call spread, we bought it at 50 cents, it'd be worth $1. So even if you didn't buy the stock, you got something to smile about. Man, what an afternoon. All day, staying on the sidelines, and then come in and make some money. I love it. Have a great night. Come back tonight at 8. We're going to be talking about sawgrass, and we'll be looking at the market. Then at 9 o'clock, I'll take advantage of this and show people some really neat things they can do. So, Jonathan, if you will, you might put the slide up if they want to join the Future First. And there's 3 levels of membership. I'll see everybody on the flip side. Thank you very much.